Welcome to this edition of Dragonfly Soup. I'm Linda Watson-Call, and I'm glad that you could join me today. Victim or victor? How do you see yourself? The choice is yours, you know. We get up in the morning expecting to have a good day. We walk into the kitchen and discover the coffee isn't ready yet. Oh crap, forgot to do that last night. And as we turn around to get the coffee out of the cupboard, we realize we just stepped into something squishy. Looking down, we see the dog wasn't caged either, and it left us a present. What next? Just as we begin to wonder what we were thinking last night, our 4-year-old comes in complaining of a tummy ache and proceeds to throw up. Now we have to see if Grandma can come over or if we're going to have to take a day off from work. Let's stop right here. We've all had days that have made us wonder if there's a dark cloud over our head or what we did to deserve this run of events. But how often does it happen to us? Now that's the key. I'm sure you've known people who, if they didn't have bad luck, they wouldn't have any luck at all. Or the person that makes you want to grab your phone and avoid them just to avoid the conversation about what went bad this morning, yesterday, or last week. Did you ever feel that you were one of those people? Someone who couldn't seem to get ahead no matter how hard you tried? Now, we've all been there at one time or another, but it's how we handle the situation, what we are doing, that makes us a victim or a victor. Before I go into more detail on this, I really want to stop here and say that there are some people who have mental illness that will keep them in a depressed state or feeling that they're hopeless or that they can't do anything right. I'm not addressing mental illness today. Mental illness is a disease, and it's a serious disease that needs the attention of a therapist or a counselor. What we want to consider today are the choices that we make, even when things are really out of our control, and why we handle them in that way. Now here's a few examples. You're on your way to work, and you just notice that your low fuel lamp flashes on. You know that you can't get to work without stopping for gas, but if you do stop for gas, you'll be late for work. How do you react? Let's be honest with yourself. Or how about this situation? You've been working hard on your projects for the last 6 months or so. You know that there is a retirement coming up, and you would like that person's position. It pays more, and it has more prestige. And you feel that that position should be yours. Then you learn someone else got the job. How do you feel? What's your initial reaction? How would you handle this one? Let's try one more. You decide to warm up some leftovers for dinner and the microwave doesn't start. Okay, you can always heat up the food on the stove, you know, the old-fashioned way. But the real issue is, last month, the washing machine quit working. The month before, it was the garbage disposal. And before that, it was the furnace. Or was it the refrigerator? You can't remember. But what you know is that at this rate, all the appliances will be replaced by the end of the year. What are your thoughts on this one? How would you react? The way you handle these, what I call everyday life situations, indicates whether you play the role of a victim or a victor. Now, some people actually enjoy playing the victim. They feel there isn't enough excitement in their lives, so anything that happens is a big event. And sometimes they even embellish the situation to get more attention from those around them. You've heard the story. It goes something like this. You know, my grandson came over last night, and well, you know how kids are. He was running around and not looking where he was going and tripped over the rake that was in the yard. I was so concerned. I didn't know if he hit his head or whether he was hurt. I didn't know what to do. Well, by now, everyone that's listening is caught up in the story, and the people telling the story, well, they're in the spotlight. Now, in other circumstances, playing the victim means that they don't have to take responsibility for anything. This story at the office this morning sounds something like this. Well, wouldn't you just know it? I came home last night with every intention of working on this report that's due today. My daughter comes out and tells me she had a math problem for homework and she doesn't understand it. Now, you know I hated math in school, so I call my husband and say, can you help her out with this? Oh, he can't. He's on his way out the door. It's his bowling light. So here I am. Right. The report wasn't finished. The homework wasn't done either. And this morning's gripe session, well, that isn't getting her report finished either. But it wasn't her fault. On other times, the drama is even created so the victim can get his or her way. It's the I'm owed this because, and they know that eventually they will get their way. They will get what they want, and then they will continue to repeat this type of a scene next time they feel that they need or want something. There are victims who are looking for attention. There are victims who don't want to be responsible for their actions. And there are victims that feel that they deserve more than what they are getting. Did you see yourself in any of these situations? If you did, you might be asking, well, how can I change? What can I do about that? The answer is we need to think about the choices we are making on a daily, even an hourly basis. We can change our story and the way we perceive things if we think hard about why we are making these choices. So let's look back on those first three scenarios. You're on the verge of running out of gas and you are running out of time. If someone else drove your car, would you blame them for the low fuel? Of course you would. I'll bet some people could blame somebody or something else even if they were the only ones driving that car. They would blame events like, I had to go out of my way yesterday to pick up a gift for that birthday party this weekend, and so I used up more gas than I thought I would. Or if they stopped for gas, they came in late, and the story might be something like, I left in plenty of time to get the gas, but wouldn't you believe it? The number of cars at that station? Now, they are no longer responsible for being late or for having almost run out of gas. The change that would be needed would be to consistently check the gas gauge and getting gas when it was between a quarter and a half empty. If they did this, the situation we heard would have never occurred. Choices, being responsible for yourself, and thinking ahead. Let's look at that second scenario. You didn't get the position you wanted. You blame the supervisor for liking the other person more, or you blame the other person for his or her can-do attitude. Did you ever think of looking at your skills and realizing that it might be to your better interest if you learned how to use some of those computer programs? Or take a course in leadership if that's important in your company? If you want to move up in the company, you need to know what they are looking for more than what you are looking for. Choices, decisions. It's up to us to make the right move. And that last one, I like to call this the Appliance of the Month Club, because if one appliance breaks down, it is a domino effect. You can try to blame power surges, or somebody overloaded the washing machine's capacity, or they just don't make equipment like they used to. Now that's my favorite one. But no one is to blame, unless you really did something dumb with it. At this time, you're not responsible. Or you could make yourself the center of attention with it and complain about how all these new appliances are breaking you, but wouldn't it be better to look at the upside? You're getting more features with that new washing machine. Or maybe you can get that refrigerator you've always wanted. Yep, it may sting financially, but you can tell yourself you'll have peace of mind with all these new appliances, at least for a while. It's all perspective. It's our choice to be a victim or a victor. It's how we look at the situation as well as the choices we make that leads up to the event. So, if you recognize yourself in any of these instances, what can you do? First, take responsibility. Stop blaming others, unless they really are to blame. You were sitting at the stop sign and the car did run into you. Next, feel like you are in control of your life, because you really are. Appliances will break, people will get passed over for jobs, cars run out of gas, but you control your reaction and how you handle the situation. Finally, be kind to yourself and others. Congratulate the other person for getting that position. Take responsibility for your thoughts and your actions. Don't beat up on yourself for hating math. Your child will pick up on it and both of you will feel bad. Think about it. Do you enjoy getting the sympathy from others because everything that is happening to you? Or passing the blame to someone else? I can almost guarantee you that you would get the same amount of attention with praise and appreciation if your story was how you handled the crisis and how you turned it into something good. Most people prefer to hear good news instead of bad news. And act with gratitude. Find something to be thankful for every day. Do something nice for someone else. Take on the role of victor, and you will start seeing yourself as a winner regardless of the circumstances. And here's to creating our best life ever.